Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of my next gen tips. In this one, we're going to be looking at defending, and hopefully I'm not going to get torn apart by Germany here. They've got a very good team going forward. They're going to score a lot of goals in the World Cup, I think. But equally, I think Brazil, who the team I am using today is, will be one of the better teams defensively in the World Cup, that's for sure. Obviously, they are the home team, which helps. But defensively, I love Brazil on this game. They've got some insane defenders. Dante, Thiago Silva, David Luiz. You know, they've got others as well who, you know, like Dede, for example, is absolutely fantastic. Basically because they're pacey. It's as simple as that. We all know it. But not just pacey, but strong and good in the air. And actually, they're good at playing the ball out of danger. They're good at passing. These are little things I'm going to be talking about in this video, so hopefully you will pick up some tips. First of all, obviously I like to talk about formations, player selections and things like that. Now you may be thinking defence is all about your actual defence, who you select to be your centre-backs, your wing-backs. When actually I think more importantly, you need to select good central defensive midfielders. Work rates on certain players is very important for me. I like to have at least one midfielder who sits in the middle with a high defensive work rate. In that case, I don't think Paulinho does. He might have a medium. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and check that now because I want to talk about Ramirez as well. But you can see we're using like a 4-3-3 here with two CDMs. We've got Paulinho here. It's good to have some stamina as well. Yeah, I was right. He doesn't have a high defensive work rate. So with his high attacking work rate, he is going to be moving up the pitch. We've got Gustavo, who I know for a fact has high defensive work rates. I really think you need at least one of these guys. On the bench, there he is, Ramirez. Now, a lot of people like to use high. Now, for me, sure, it's absolutely fine. You can use a high attacking and a high defensive working midfielder, especially a CDM, but they need to have good stamina, otherwise they will get exhausted. And in this case, we're obviously fine because Ramirez has 94. The first thing I would do in this situation is, get hold of one player here. In this case, it's Dani Alves. I don't normally select the player nearest the ball because the computer is actually very decent at switching for you if you've got it on automatic. And also, they do actually make auto tackles, which means you will get away with, less fouls and things like that, less yellow cards, less red cards, because it'll be the computer that does it. In this case there, it was better to select the nearest player because if he had turned on me, I'd be in trouble. So let's give it back away again there. Again here, selecting the player that's not nearest the ball. The game will do the work for you. And then when you feel the chances there, you go ahead and nick the ball like I did there. It does seem to work very well. Let's go ahead and give it away again and try again. So second away, very close to the ball here. So I want to back off a little bit, making sure I'm filling in the space. And when you're ready, just nick it like that. Again, switch players here. Make sure there's no space for them to pass it in between. That was a really good example there. They had to shoot. They had no options to pass. And in the end, it was very easy. Now, I'm going to show you one interesting thing I've worked out. If you press the touchpad on the PS4 like that, it switches it to the goalkeeper view. Now, the goalkeeper view is brilliant because you are using the goalkeeper here. And effectively, you can cheat and let your team win the ball back for you. I personally don't use it in career mode because obviously I like to get highlights and things like that. But there you can see you've won the ball back. And what it'll do is automatically switch for you. And, in this case, it's probably not going to work out for me. But I could have easily broke through there and scored. I'm just going to switch it back now using select. And there you go. It switches it back for me. And I've got the ball back. So another tip I've got is pressure. I noticed in the last video this was helpful for some people. And that is pressing up and then down. It gives you team pressing. Sometimes it will mean that two of your players will run at the ball there. Great tackle from Dani Alves. Using the quick tactics is very important indeed. Let's give it back again. Look at that lovely pass from Hulk. Shane Neuer's not going to bother with getting it. But some people don't use the quick tactics. They're there for a reason. They're extremely handy. And team pressure just basically means your players will make much more of an effort to, chase down the ball. So let's use, I think it's Paulinho here. We're going to fill in the gap here, make him go to the wing, switch to Dani Alves, show him down this left side. That's where I want him to go. And then when I get him in that position where I'm able to tackle, it's just simple as that. Now, I forgot to mention one thing at the start of the video, and that is playing defensively by using your slide bar thing. If you press left and right a few times, you'll see a little bar comes up in the bottom right here. If you go on ultra defensive, it's quite obvious what that's going to do. It means all your players are going to sit deep. Awful slide tackle there. Good tackle from Dante there. It means all your players will make an effort to get back. That plus team pressure or double pressure, whatever it's called, means you'll have a much easier time putting players behind the strikers and behind the ball and attempting to make tackles. And obviously, I don't really recommend going on ultra defensive if you're 0-0 and you haven't got a goal. I'd always stay on normal or balanced, that's what they call it, until you feel like you're really struggling to get a goal or if you're struggling to stop conceding. So let's get back here with my midfielders. I'm not even going to make a challenge here. I'm just going to sit back here and soak in the pressure. I can see a run being made, and there you go. Cut in with Gustavo there. I quickly selected to him, picked off the ball, and now we're on the counter. But Lama's won it back. We can do the same again here. Track the runs. I'm holding team, the team attack or team tackle thing, which selects one of the nearest players to the ball and makes the tackle for you. If you don't know what that's called, I'll actually just double check that. I don't want to get it wrong. So you go into settings, then you go to controller settings, and you go over to defense. So teammate contain. Now I've switched X and R1. So normally teammate contain is R1. I use X because I find it really helps me out. I've discussed this in videos before. It just means it's going to select one of your players nearest the ball to, put pressure on them while you select someone else. So for example, I'm going to have Dante here. Let's try and get it back to Dante. It's got auto switch on at the moment. I'm just holding X right now with Dante. It means all my players that are near the ball will make an effort, and there you go, it's a simple tackle. Got some more defending to do here. I'm just going to back off, and then when the time was right, step in. Dante is a prime example of that in real life football. He backs away. He doesn't go straight in unless he absolutely has to. And Gustavo's going to come out here. I keep forgetting. I've got to give the ball back. Hang on. Now, corners are very easy to defend if you've got big defenders. I always try to select one of the bigger ones, like Dante. There you go. He gets it out. Wasn't even with his head. And Hulk, oh my God, he's going to run. He's going to run. No, he's not going to get that off Mertesacker. But with corners, it's very difficult because it is just a game of odds. Whether they're going to win the header or not, it's down to the game. And you will concede headed goals. It's as simple as that. Here I'm just putting pressure on the midfield. We've won it back with Oscar there. And that's full time. I didn't concede against Germany on World Class. Very happy with that. Hopefully you've learned something in this video. If so, please do leave a like. That would be awesome. And I'll see you for another Roma Career Mode episode very soon. Cheers for watching.